Role swap in the competitive scene was nothing new in League of Legends. But there was a team that raised the idea to extreme levels. Not only have they added another mid laner to their roster, but they also warped how the game was played throughout the year. They were the superteam in the EU, built to flex champions in multi-roles. Drafting was a nightmare against this team. However, that greatness became the reason for their downfall as well. This is how a single draft shattered Europe's hopes at Worlds.
Fun plus Phoenix are looking to silence the haters and stun the world with their own style of League of Legends. They are pushing onto the Nexus. The favorites of G2 in Paris did not stand a chance. And Fun plus, they've taken down the Nexus. They turn their attention to Wunder. Tian goes down. Perkz kills Kimgoon. The Nexus is being focused. It's going down. And Fun plus Phoenix are your world champions.
Going back to Worlds 2018, EU shocked the world as they held the second best record at Worlds, which was way above LCK. It was an impressive year for their region as Fnatic took down LPL's third seed EDG, while G2 sniped the team that was walking on a golden road, LPL's RNG. The world thought that the West was finally conquering the East, since only IG was the remaining Eastern team. But in the end, IG lifted the Summoners Cup, while EU settled for the second and third place spots. It was a heartbreaking moment for EU fans, since they thought it was their best shot at winning Worlds again. But even though it ended in disappointment, it was also the same moment that triggered an all-out change for the region. When Fnatic lost to IG 3-0 in the finals, G2 made probably the biggest move in League history. Masks were on as the fans gathered for a unified goal. It was the symbol to support the super team created by the organization. In January 2019, G2 announced its integrated roster. They kept their top side of the map while completely changing the bottom lane. The support of Misfits, Mikyx joined the team. But the most shocking move was when the star mid laner of Fnatic, Caps, teamed up with G2 as well. This move forced Perkz to play in the AD carry role, but everyone knew that the roles on this team were only on paper. From the underdogs in 2018 to the super team in 2019, G2 topped the spring regular season in the LEC, dropping only 5 games in the double round robin. Their record against all the teams in the LEC was either 2-0 or 1-1, meaning no team had ever beaten them twice. And when the playoffs came, G2 showed the true terror of their name.
Jankos is coming out. Now the undertow's available. Duet will not find a stun. That's at least a devastating charge. Continue to push forward. Wunder forced to dash to safety. The ignites. Oh, the burn is not going to be enough just yet. G2 first blood. The first blood king does it in the
in order to keep this game alive.
All right, 20 minutes, 30 seconds on the clock. Origen looking to engage. I believe that might be the quickest. We're going to confirm with stats. Look at the re-engage. Cosmic Rental by some time. Slicing Monstrum does so much damage. Imagine if Origen were not 8,000 gold down. They've got themselves a 1-for-1. Here's the re-engage. Miffy gets chunked out. The knock-up and the dash away from Mikyx. Now Wunder's looking to run down the rest of the team. Miffy gets popped. The shield from Wunder. The dive. In with the ultimate, still chasing. Origen behind, 10,000 gold. Shock Blast almost kills Cole.
And you can smell the desperation from Origen. They recognize that this is the one window that they have to attack G2 before they all go back and spend all of that gold, all of those towers that they've taken down.
Ladies and gentlemen in Twitch chat, press F to pay respects because OG's funeral is coming up. Alfari gets one.
For it.
Here's the base. The team, before 20 minutes, is looking for it. G2 Esports are looking at the Nexus. Origen, they're trying to fight back, but they cannot do it. Origen are crumbling to G2. Europe kneels to its champion, G2.
This series showed how far the gap was between G2 and the rest of the LEC teams. And of course, they got the stats to back them up. Notice how the game ends faster as the series goes on. From 31 minutes and 7 seconds in Game 1, 24 minutes and 54 seconds in Game 2, to 18 minutes and 31 seconds in Game 3. In Game 1, G2 drafted a teamfight heavy comp, as they got dueling bruisers on the top side, a utility mid, then 2 healing support champs on the bottom lane. When Origen copies their bottom lane duo in Game 2, G2 pivoted into a different double support duo, as they chose Morgana jungle and Pyke mid. And in Game 3 they drafted a skirmish heavy comp, having Nico as AP carry. G2 were basically breaking how drafting works, and this was just the tip of the iceberg. Their regular season dominance was translated into the playoffs as G2 swept the competition. An unprecedented 6-0 record in the playoffs, clean sweeping their opponents in a 30-minute average game duration. No team in the history of EU has won the tournament this fast. It became a warning for the regions in the upcoming international tournament. As MSI 2019 kicked off, the top teams across the world flew to Vietnam to compete in a grueling competition. G2 made their way as the strong super team of EU, but they were not the only ones who built a super team for this tournament. From NA, Team Liquid built around their star player Doublelift. They got Core JJ, 2017 World Champ, and Jensen, 2018 World Semi-Finalist. These two new players became the key to a dominant season for Team Liquid. In LCK, SKT built around Faker by adding the 2013 World Finals MVP Marta. They also went all in as SKT added more veteran players like Khan, Clid, and Teddy. And for the LPL, IG kept their original roster, the team that swept both G2 and Fnatic in Worlds 2018. MSI 2019 was the competition of the super teams, and only one can reign supreme. During the group stage, the Western teams became middle-of-the-pack teams. Both G2 and TL dropped a lot of games during the double round robin. Meanwhile, the reigning world champ IG only dropped a single game to SKT as they topped the standings. SKT, on the other hand, earned the second spot thanks to their 7-3 game record. Because of the match standings, it set up the first versus fourth and second versus third matchups in the playoffs, and the rest was history. As Game 1 started, G2 drafted their tried and tested comp, the double support bot lane, dueling bruisers on the top side of the map. And since SKT snatched Lissandra away, they pivoted to Morgana as the utility mid laner. Unfortunately, SKT already decoded how to win against this comp after losing to IG in the previous round.
They showcase any kind of special level 1 strats, which they brought out in the final against Origen and caught them off guard. But it's SKT with the leading level 1.
And oh, that's a flash forward! I did not anticipate.
It's still the same level as Wunder. The bot lane is still the same level as... Ooh, we see a pick.
Oh, we do indeed, but on who? Cosmic Raiders comes down there, buys so much time. Look at the power of Sona and Taric, but crucially, those ultimates are not available. If SK Telecom keep pressuring, then there's trouble for G2. True Shot Barrage forces a defensive retreat. The tower falls in the interim, and Caps is finally leaving top lane. He finished his recall, now the inhibitor turret's under pressure.
Teddy is so strong, has Ardent Sensor on top of 2 items. They're not looking for the Baron at all, and Wunder's coming from the flank.
All right, the Dazzle will not find a target. G2 are so low. Jankos is going to be very, very careful. Wunder fencing his chances. Already gets one. That's a second kill for G2. Vanguard's it buys some time, but look at Teddy. He's flashed away to the right. Faker is down, taken out by Caps, but at what cost? Here comes Clid. Dragon Strike as well as the Karma Q. Picks up a kill. Now Teddy's running onto Perkz. He's got double buffs available. But look at the power chords from Perkz. He's in so much trouble. Instantly taken down by Teddy. It ends up being a 2 for 4 in favor of SKT. It's not done yet. The ace is available. Caps throws out the Super Soaker. Dark Binding as well as the Tormented Shadow. He gets taken out by Faker though.
And this is a one-sided fight in favor of...
Pick for Baron very soon.
All right, this is a teleport into the mid lane. G2 feel the Baron pressure. Perkz is coming in, but Caps may already be gone. He goes golden thanks to the Hourglass. Khan's coming in with a slicing maelstrom into all of G2. Caps is already down. Perkz follows. Finally, Clid is killed, but it is a whitewash as G2 get obliterated. Mikyx is running for his life, and Teddy's having none of it. Mystic Shot, Arcane Shift, tagging him down, and G2 are ace.
Asking you shall receive. That's when they need to kill the game. Pre-30, they get that picks. The slicing maelstrom is massive, and SKT should win the game here.
Wow, they're onto the Nexus turrets. That's the first one falling. G2 Esports have been obliterated in the opening game. SK Telecom send a salvo and a message to the LEC champions that...
It seemed like SKT read them like a book in this match, which forced G2 to change things up in the second game. Heading into Game 2, G2 flexed around their champions since Akali and Morgana could be mid or top. They added more confusion as they locked Nico at B5. Looking at this draft, Draven was the only champ certain in his role, while the rest could be moved around. This was the reason why teams should wait for the last 20 seconds of the drafting phase against this team. G2 would happily play any champs in any roles, which caught SKT off guard.
untouchable the next few minutes. Mikyx gonna flash forward. The Dark Binding didn't connect. Black Shield is doing a lot of work though for Perkz. Here comes Jankos. Teddy has already used the flash. Summoning heal still available to him. Gets caught up by the flail and the stun. Here comes the Fault Breaker. Clid jumps in, denting blows to Mickey's face. First blood is available. One more auto. Clid can't close the difference. Now Mata sitting on that flash still. Gotta be very careful. Those spinning axes doing work. Jankos gets the shield. Clid and Jankos trade lives 1-for-1.
One needed for Wunder as well.
A little bit of an exchange here. Caps has already used the perfect execution. Goes all the way back in with the flip. 5-point strike. Picks up a kill into Mata. Now Jankos looking for the stun. That's a double kill for Caps. He flashes over the wall. But here comes Khan. Charges into him for devastating effect. Khan takes down Caps as the mid lane tower is being focused. Protobell from Faker just to clear the wave. Dark Binding will connect into Khan. And he gets taken down. On hit Nico running amok. G2 Esports wait for the minion line to conga in, and they might get some more damage on the tower.
And remember what we just talked about. G2 had priority on the side lanes. So the moment SKT split up to go and control it, that is when G2 strike, they found another pit.
Mikyx fires the Dark Binding from out of vision, and Faker is caught out. Another tower, and he's back and in the fight. G2 Esports with Baron empowered. They haven't backed away yet. Spinning axes will connect, and the teleport now being channeled by Khan. Unstoppable Onslaught's not available, but it might not be needed. That's an interrupt. Devastating charge delivers Perkz into the back line. There goes Faker, chasing down the Perkz. Perkz stays alive for now. Can't find the next axe. All of a sudden, though, it's a 1-for-1. Support for AD. Jankos, as well as Caps, get themselves a reply back. Now Caps turns his attention to Khan. Faker's running low. He needs to get some regen. Whoa! He is popped by Caps. Caps is throwing out every single ability and turning his attention to Khan. It's a quadra kill for Caps and G2.
G2 Esports hold the line as the rest of SKT mount one last defense, but it is not enough. G2 look to equalize the series.
12,000 gold advantage as a Dark Binding from Mikyx should just about seal the deal. Caps goes all the way to the steps of the fountain for a pentakill as G2 equalize the series at 1-1.
And that means that we have oh so much to play for.
That pentakill was a statement game for Caps. In the next succeeding games, these two super teams went blow for blow as they pushed the series into 5 games, but only one proved to be superior against the other.
In this engage, by the way, sitting on that QSS, that's a flash impale. Khan will get devoured though, not gonna get killed just yet. Chain of Corruption has already been used. Here comes Wunder. He eats an enchanted crystal arrow to the face, and Faker's been able to join the fray. 5 members of G2 trying to push forward, but the minion wave is getting obliterated. Oh! Massive! Manages to steal the gnaw. Faker turns around. He hijacks G2's chances. Listen to that crowd as SKT turn it around. Teleport? That is what that was trying to dissuade. Caps and Wunder are pushing both lanes. The empowered recalls, though, is a tool that Faker and SKT choose not to use. Faker steps forward, Chain of Corruption starts to spread. Perkz as well as Mikyx trying to do what they can. They've dissuaded enough for now. Caps and Wunder, they're pushing in. This is going to be for the final fight.
This is the G2 classic. They never go for conventional when trying to end the game. They're split pushing right now. Rise joins the top side. Here they go.
All right, Abyssal Voyage will deliver Teddy to the back line, but Caps and Wunder are on the Nexus. They will not go quietly. The Nexus is being focused, but look at Faker. Nexus 1 or 2 more hits. Mega Man on top. Wunder forces game 5. On both sides, though. Khan has managed to make it to the river. Caps has thrown down a ward. He's got vision. The claw will tag Mata. Mikyx's going to be in range as well. There's no flash available, and he may need to Justice Punch over the wall. Baron has been interrupted. Teddy is trying to step forward. The taunt is going to come out. Caps is trying to find the kill. Mata's in trouble. Faker's low, but they've already got one onto Mata. Where is Teddy? Follow his HP bar. Khan flashes up the wall. Teddy's dead. Jankos is in the pit. G2 Esports have been gifted and donated a Baron from SKT. That's a dunk from Wunder. Death from below for the double, for the ace, for the Baron and the base.
G2 obliterate SKT. Look at all the death timers. They're looking to stamp their authority onto the SK Telecom dynasty and make their way to the final.
Baron empowered minions are pushing into the base. The gap be damned. Champions can fall, gods can bleed. Where were you when the West rose up to conquer champions? G2 Esports eliminates SK Telecom.
For the second game in the Orcs history, G2 made it to the MSI finals. SKT plays well in standard picks, but G2 outclassed them with their flexible picks across the board. The surprise doesn't end there, as Team Liquid took down IG in 4 games. For the first time in league history, it was NA versus EU in the finals. G2 never had a winning record against IG, but thanks to Team Liquid, the competition became easier for the EU squad. G2 smacked Team Liquid 3-0, the fastest international BO5 series in league history. The gold lead was almost 10,000 gold above in each game. Kill score was 56-13, towers taken were 28-5, and drakes taken were 7-1. No one could prep against G2 due to their unpredictability both in draft and in game. Looking at the champions they played throughout MSI 2019, there were a few champions that appeared in different roles. Pyke was played 3 times in the top lane, even though they play it in support and mid lane in their region. Meanwhile, Ryze, Irelia, Vlad, Nico and Morgana were all flexed into 2 different roles. It was insane how G2 could pilot any comp, which became their core strength for the rest of the year. Upon returning to their home soil, G2 raised the bar as they achieved a better record compared to their previous split, from 13-5, 72% win rate, to 15-3, 83% win rate. G2 were expected to once again sweep the playoffs, but it seemed like teams were slowly figuring them out. In Game 1 in the LEC finals, G2 faced Fnatic, and they started their draft with first pick Pyke. At this point, everyone knew that this champ was a multi-flex pick for G2, which is why Fnatic responded with 2 flex picks as well. As the draft continued, it was actually Fnatic who flexed their top side of the map. G2, on the other hand, drafted a standard comp as they put Pyke in support. This setup continued as Fnatic and G2 traded wins and losses from games 1 to 4. G2's drafting advantage was seemingly missing, and the playing field was finally evened out. However, the real G2 finally woke up as the teams reached Game 5. Since Fnatic has been spamming Akali in the whole series, G2 finally took away the champion in first pick. During the first half of the picking stage, Fnatic anticipated that Akali would go to the mid lane, just like how they used the champ. G2 continued the mystery as they picked jungle and support. But entering the second phase of drafting, G2 locked Syndra and Renekton. Now everything was all over the place. Fnatic even chose Ornn as an answer to Renekton, but Renekton wasn't even going to the top lane in the first place. Once again, G2's drafting mind game was in full display.
Entire clear. He's now hit level 4, and he has arrived at the bot lane. Mikyx and Perkz are level 2, they're going in.
Hook lands onto Hylissang, the Scatter of the Week will connect as well, and the Ignite is ticking away. One more order would be enough. Perkz flashes forward, first blood to him.
Fnatic to attempt to punish that in the coming minutes.
And through, we gotta keep an eye on top lane.
Oh, Wunder's killed Whippo in the 1v1, and now meanwhile in the mid lane, G2 are destroying. Force him away for the moment, but Hylissang's so low. Teleport coming in here, him from Fnatic. It's going to be Whippo joining the fight. You can see Jankos trying to do what he can. Whippo comes in, and Mikyx so low, but the counter Jankos coming in him from G2. And now Fnatic are collapsing in the fight. Whippo caught out, 3 kills to G2, and Fnatic can do nothing about it.
Fnatic falter in the early skirmish. They do get an answer back onto Mikyx, but it is only table scraps as G2 walk away with 3 kills. The defining factor in that fight was that Jankos was there first, but Brox is not done.
Brox are looking for the kill here, doesn't have the ultimate, but Reckless is on his way as well. Wunder coming in from the side, still has the flash and the stun, will connect onto Broxer. Wunder takes the kill. The dragon goes down to kill G2. The taunt, Caps is on the backside of this. He doesn't have the ult, but here comes Wunder. The Baron is too much for Fnatic right now. They cannot do it. Mikyx lands the hook. It's only onto Hylissang. Wunder coming in with a Hextech gunblade. Caps fighting off towards the top side. He takes down Nemesis. And now Fox is not in the best of shape. Wunder jumping onto the back line. Another hook hits. And G2 somehow to just care about this inhibitor tower. Wunder pushing in the wave. The super minions on their way. You can see the stun lands on Hylissang. The unleashed power from Perkz. But Broxer goes in. Perkz goes golden. Right at the right moment, and now Caps is jumping on the back line. Nemesis is down. It's all on Reckless. But G2 have found the fight. They found the kills. They have found their moment. Fnatic are unable to defend, and G2 with 5 players are going to look to close out this game.
Here comes the teleports.
Yeah, Caps is looking to base. The TP is coming in. They're looking to take everything away from the base of Fnatic. They still have the Baron buff. Fnatic did what they could to hold the line, but this is going to be it.
Wunder stunned up, but he is able to survive, and now the Nexus Tower is the target for G2. Fnatic needs something something miraculous. They need something from the Forge God himself, but they cannot find it. G2 are pushing in. G2 are taking the Nexus towers. Reckless gets the stand united. Jankos almost forward, but he's going to go into the GA. And now Counts is focusing the Nexus down towards the bottom side. Hitter's trying to find as much as he can, but the Nexus is the target. And G2, they take it. They prove with the whole world watching.
G2 claimed the LEC title once more, and they were on pace in building the Golden Road. This has been the most dominant look for the region, and perhaps G2 could finally be the first team to achieve a feat that no other teams have ever reached. And with that in mind, this G2 lineup was fully set for the biggest tournament of the year. Fast forward to the Worlds 2019. G2 was one of the heavy favourites to win it all. While LPL and LCK follow certain metas, G2 reinvents them. Their drafting style was so unique that many believed the rest of the world wouldn't be able to handle their craziness. During the group draw show, G2 was placed in Group A, together with LCK's second seed, Griffin, NA's second seed, C9, and the LMS representatives, HK Attitude. G2 performed as expected, clapping C9 and HK Attitude while having a tie with Griffin. They eventually came out as the second seed in their group as Griffin won the tiebreaker. But despite the loss against Korea's second seed, G2 wielded the LCK Slayer title in the knockout stage. They dismantled Damwon's Showmaker Canyon combo in the quarterfinals and then the SKT Superteam in the semi-finals rematch. Both LCK teams fell in 4 games, proving that the LCK teams cannot compete with how G2 plays the game. Thanks to their supreme drafting and unique playstyle, G2 reached the World Finals, bringing Caps to the same spot last year. However, their demons of the past resurface, as the region that swept Fnatic last year sent another team to the finals. But this time, though, they were facing a team with a similar drafting style, but at the same time can play the standard draft at the highest level. As Game 1 starts, everyone expects FPX to first pick Ryze, but FPX chose Nautilus instead. While every team plays Naut in support, FPX puts it in the hands of Doinb. G2 selected Varus and then snatched the Ryze flex from FPX. As the first half of the drafting phase comes to an end, both teams have seemingly standard drafts. But the gauntlet was thrown during the second phase of the draft. G2 selected a jungler for their 4th pick, while FPX confirmed that the Nautilus would go to mid due to the Thresh pick. G2 then answered Nautilus mid with a hook mid for their own, as Pyke was locked in. This game was the test of who could pilot this drafting style better.
Has started to move. All right, Tian has pulled the wave. He's got himself the red buff. There's the overload. Teleport starting to come in. This is a 3 versus 1. Wunder's got mana. He's got flash, but it's a reply already. There's the root down. Wunder gives up first blood to FPX. Caps gets a stun under the tower. Doinb still doesn't go down. Now Caps is in trouble. Fun plus Phoenix. Very valuable. Dredgeline is dodged away from as the Drake is secure, but now G2 are split. That's at least some CC to interrupt. The chain of corruption will start to spread, and it's Mikyx that gets tagged. He's locked down. He's knocked up. He's dead. LWX is on a rampage. The Sivir is terrifying. There goes the teleport. The king! Tian! Even more confident than that right now with a minute on Baron. Relborg comes out and Wunder's going to get caught up in the death sentence. It's another kill. It's another pick. It's another moment where FPX are shining. 60-second death timer Kobe with super minions in multiple lanes and Baron to defend.
That's probably going to be game number 1. Quick Shock FPX with the 5v4 advantage will march on the Nexus turrets.
Chain of corruption is available and Jankos gets caught out. The Devourer's buying some time. There goes Caps forward. Crisp manages to stay alive. That was a fantastic flash. The chain of corruption is starting to sprint. Jankos buys some time with the hourglass and Doinb goes low. LWX gets another. Tian finds a second. The Nexus tower falls as well. FPX are looking for one last kill. Not going to find it just yet. And the Nexus gets focused. The Nexus gets killed after the ace. And FPX strike first.
Going into Game 2, G2 stayed true to their drafting style as they first picked Gragas for the multi-flex. While FPX prioritizes their carry champs for their team, G2 doubled down as they chose more flex picks with Yasuo and Akali. This leaves Lee Sin available for Tian, who recently styled on them in Game 1. For the second half of the draft, FPX chose comfort picks. It was understandable, since G2 rounded their comp with Elise and Tristana, meaning every champ in this lineup can still go to different lanes. However, FPX could not care less about G2's drafting mind games.
Gets the bad news. Tian and Doinb are late here.
Well, they are going to be a little bit. 800 HP on the Infernal. Caps will just avoid that overload. That's a flash forward into the taunt. Dragon secured by G2, but the first fight is on the board. First blood again to FPX. Now Tian is going so low. Jankos repels up, comes down, gets kill. It's a jungler for jungler trade, and now Perkz is blown up. 3 many kills and assists, and obviously with the Baron are now doing some work. Crisp gets caught out by the ultimate. Tian puts so much damage on the Jankos and is turning around. Crisp throws down the stopwatch, we're right back into the heat of it. Here come FPX over the wall. Hero's entrance into the river, and G2, they cannot find anything yet. They're chasing on Crisp. They've got themselves finally one more kill, but the teleport comes up from Gimgoon. He doesn't have the charge available. All of a sudden, Mikyx down. 2, 3, LWX can find the triple. Tian gets another. G2 are aced at 22 minutes. On a rope will not pull him backwards. Now Caps, he steps forward, trying to get Skarl to run for the hills. Rocket jumps once again. Not gonna find him just yet. I think that Realm Warp was interrupted. I think the Cocoon did it. Now Perkz is looking for a last breath target. Jankos escapes for now, and Perkz gets blown up where he stands. Caps will not be able to kill Gimgoon. He goes golden. The stopwatch saves him this time. Now Caps is in trouble. He gets chased down, run down. Not yet killed by LWX, but it will only be a few seconds longer. Jankos repels up, drops down. Crisp continues to chase him. Goes golden. The stopwatch buys again. So much time. But here comes Doinb. He gets the kill. LWX cannot find Caps, but Gimgoon may be able to. Glass Cone is available, and so will the rocket jump. Oh, Caps! He runs into Tian, and he will finally get taken down. 17 kills to 3. It's not done yet, Kobe, because Mickey's chasing Crisp.
Action still going here. Quick shot. Root lands for Rise.
Yes, screw it. Here comes Wunder. Pick another fight. Why the hell not? Flash over the wall. Killer instinct to kill Wunder. Now, Perkz has rejoined the fight. He's going to get taken down by Doinb. He gets the knockup. He can't even breathe one last time. Nor can I. At a 13,000 gold deficit, FPX are pushing the base.
They're pushing the limits of your large lungs over there. The yakety sax music reverberating around the Accor Hotel Arena. This should be the close for FPX.
FPX are one win away from a world championship title. They turn their attention to one last kill. The Nexus goes down, and FPX...
Backs against the wall, G2 was running out of options. While FPX chose an ADC for their first pick, G2 went all in on their drafting style. They stole Rise and Nautilus from FPX, eyeing to flex these two champs. However, this once again left Lee Sin up for Tian, and FPX quickly locked it in. As the rest of the draft unfolded, FPX rounded their comp with solo lanes with global ults, while G2 last picked Veigar for Caps. It was important to remember that only Nemesis won on this champ, while the rest of the mid laners in the tournament failed to pilot Veigar. Not to mention, G2 drafted a magic-heavy team comp, while Galio was literally made to counter mages. It seemed like FPX finally solved how to draft against G2, and this last game was the evidence.
He goes. The Dark Matter comes down as well, but he held on to the Primordial Boost. Jankos has locked down Doinb inside the Cataclysm. He now is the target. That's a body block from Wunder. Steps in front of the Justice Punch, but the death sentence is amazing. Mickey is caught. Crisp. That was fresh and clean. But G2 aren't done yet. They're putting pressure onto the tower. The Event Horizon blocks down some, but they kick back under the tower. Tian gets blown up, but he secures a kill into Wunder. It's not done yet as Gimgoon is now stepping forward. Cannon Barrage will come up and available in just a moment. The Super Soaker is thrown out by Caps, but there's no follow-up damage. Gimgoon is being zoned away by Jankos.
Almost up. FPX trying to collapse here now. G2, will they get him?
All right, now look at the minimap at what
Missed.
cost. Doinb gets the kill onto Caps, and the teleports now come in. This could be it for G2. LWX goes forward. He won't find the kill into Jankos, but there is a potential reply.
Oh!
Time doesn't do anything. Perkz stays alive. It's a fight on multiple fronts. Now Perkz is in trouble. He's got no flash. He's got low mana, and he can't find anything. Tian takes him down. Fun plus Phoenix. Oh, accelerating ahead. Nearly 5,000 gold.
Observers once again show the true genius of the FPX plan.
Sentenced to death. Wunder. Crisp Flash, Hughes, and FPX, they want to lift the cup.
Behind enemy lines, the picks there were obscene. Tian kicking the Veigar to his death meant no delays. They're going to break the base on this Baron.
Inhibitors going to fall. Mikyx and Caps, they have respawned. G2 Esports down 5,500 gold. The hope of Europe, the hope of the Grand Slam, and it is fleeting and flying away as FPX are crushing them.
G2 have only one controller. They have to use the Ezreal ult to check here. Baron at half health.
All right, true shot barrage goes out. Death Sentence lands onto Jankos. He caught out by the box and the play. He goes in with the Cataclysm and hops right back out. The Baron is the target and it will be secured. It's LWX that does so, but it's at the cost of Crisp Life. Hero's Entrance comes in and Doinb is chasing forward. That's already a kill onto Jankos. This could be it. Now Wunder's in trouble as Caps goes golden under the hourglass. He needs to do so much more. Will throw down the event horizon, but it doesn't matter. 2 members of G2 are left to fend off 4 from Fun Plus Phoenix.
FPX are headed straight for that Nexus, and it's only Wunder and Perkz left standing.
Fun Plus Phoenix are looking to silence the haters and stun the world with their own style of League of Legends. They are pushing onto the Nexus. The favorites of G2 in Paris did not stand a chance, and Fun Plus, they've taken down the Nexus. They turn their attention to Wunder. Tian goes down. Perkz kills Kimgoon. The Nexus is being focused. It's going down, and Fun Plus Phoenix are your world champions.
EU's superteam fell short at the last stage of the Golden Road. FPX swept G2 in their own terms, proving they were the team that unpuzzled G2's drafting. Looking at how the series went, it was pretty clear how G2 crumbled in the World's Finals. G2 kept prioritizing flex pick champs, while FPX just ignored their mind games as they played their comfort picks. Tian was able to pick Lee Sin 3 times in a row, which, surprise, let him style on G2 and get the finals MVP. The drafting style that brought G2 to the World Finals became the sole reason for their downfall. Flex picks be damned, as comfort picks triumphed the series. Despite the heartbreaking loss in the finals, G2's incredible run became a huge part of league history. Up to the present day, they were the only team that was closest to achieving the Golden Road. This G2 roster was still part of the discussion of the most dominant roster in history. They may have lost the finals, but they surely won the hearts of many. If you want more topics like this, click the like button and make sure to subscribe. Speaking of upsets, stay tuned for next week's video as we discuss the upset that stunned the 2021 World's Finals.